Hello, welcome to Meettina here. How's everyone's doing? Well, today I'm so excited because this session is all about me. No, actually, it's about human design. And I invite Karen back with the last time on her last talk. She talks about our potentials, and it was a very powerful speech. And you guys should listen to her last video, which is episode number 7. So look it up. If not, I'm going to try to link it to this video. But anyway, back to human design. That's what she's going to be doing it today. She's going to be bringing up my human design chart. Yes. And she's going to tell me who I am. This is so fascinating. So let's welcome Karen. Karen, hi. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good. Are you ready for me?
Yes.
I want to hear all about it. Just give me all information.
Okay. So. Well, and we spoke before, but I just want to, for your audience, want to introduce again what human design is, because there are a lot of methodologies out there. And human design is one that I am so captivated, basically, because I use this whenever I meet any client, just so that I know how to communicate with them better, what their energy type is, so that the interactions can be more fruitful, because I know how to interact with them, what language or what words, a question that I can ask them, or how can I encourage them to make decision. Because in my coaching, or even in my therapy, as a hypnotherapist and energy healing, I always want to make people come out of the session feeling like, okay, I know what the next step is, and like, I know what I have to do. So for me, the foundation of the human design has been really useful for me. So let me just, share the screen. Hold on a second here. Let me open that one.
Yeah, so we have talked about this before, and it was quite fascinating. The whole session, you give it to me. I'm like, wow, this is another world. But
yes,
this is why I like to share, with the whole world, what it's like,
and
find out by yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy that you're willing to share your chart here.
Absolutely.
So that everybody else can learn. Okay. So human design, in a sense, it's a combinations of astrology, I Ching, or however you want to say it, Kabalah, and chakra system. Okay. Because sometimes we always ask, like, when we are born, there's really no manual to, like, how am I supposed to behave? What kind of characteristic do I have? What kind of purpose? That's why it's always a big questions. I help a lot of people, like, trying to figure out a clarity, and this is where this is the start. Because through the human design, it's almost like you're starting to then become aware of that software, that your computer has a software that that becomes an Apple computer, right? And there's a software for what's the other one, Microsoft, or there's another software for Google, whatever it is. So this is basically like the human design is also help us to know what's the energy that's activated inside of me that I can use, and be able to understand me as full. Because once you know your software, then it's easy for you to say, like, hey, I'm an Apple, hey, I'm an IBM, hey, and I'm Google, and things like that. And then this, like I mentioned earlier, human design help us to have a clarity on how to make a better decision. Because a lot of us have been trained, have been told that to make a better decision, you have to make sense of it. Is this logical, right? And a lot of, like, once we get into the explanation of the energy type and stuff like that, this whole body, it's part of how we make decisions. And each one of you has a different way or access point to activate when you need to make a decision. There are people who need to make a decision based on a gut, like me, because I have a sacral center, and I'm a manifesting generator. So we need to listen to our gut. Projector, like you have a spleen authority. So you have to listen to your intuition. And there are people actually do have some that is mental. That means you have to think about it. But then even when you think about it, you still have to connect it to the body to be able to make a decision. and so on and so forth. And we're going to go deep into your type specifically, because a projector, I feel like there's a lot of misconception out there of being a projector, not misconception of being a projector, but a lot of people who are living in this planet have been conditioned to do, to build, to create. And projectors' energy types are not like that. Projector's energy type is actually one that's more reflective, the one that's can absorb what's going on and then be able to use that as part of their purpose, like teaching and so on and so forth, which we're going to go over later. Through human design, you're also going to start to remember your soul mission. One thing about human design is this is nothing, although, yeah, there's the principles from the ancient teaching, right? Astrology, I Ching, Kabalah, chakra system. But we also put it in the founder also put it into a very pragmatic, very practical way of understanding this or learning this. And he's the type that, like, you either get it, you're either going to do it and you're going to experiment with it, or you will never understand it at all. So all of this is, all of the teachings, all the knowledge that's being shared is almost kind of like at the end, you have to still kind of peel the onion, right? Because a lot of time, like, okay, we know what the soul mission is. We started to, oh my God, yeah, that's definitely me. Oh my God, yeah, that's definitely, oh my God, that is so true about me. However, in our day-to-day, it's so easy for us to fall back into the comfort zone of who we have become up to today, for example, right? Until you hear about this human design. The application moving forward is that how we're gonna start peeling off that so that we can start to hear our soul even better. And all of this, all the information in human design, it's part of it has to be done in an experiment space or container, so that every single thing that is being validated is being used throughout your life. And we all know that once you're being in alignment with who you are, with your soul, then your whole life is opened up as per the soul's calling. That's why I said it's about remembering your soul mission. Mm-hmm. And it's part of its woo-woo, it's part of its spirituality, which, I'm sure a lot of your audience are interested in that part, but also there's some logical sense on it, because there's part of it is being validated through science, like I Ching, there's like 64, what is it, 64, that little thing, we call it the gates in human design. And we also know there's 64 genomes in the DNA. So sort of like it's a correlation between spirituality and science. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, okay. Not yet. I'm sure I'll have some.
Okay.
So my human design is a projector.
Correct. I'm just gonna make it bigger.
Yeah, and there are how many types of human designs out there, Karen?
So there's 5 types of energy, and when we call 5 types of human design, is actually the energy, the aura, right?
Okay.
And this is the one that is present. So when people are interacting, you can sense, you can feel like, oh, okay, that energy is more repelling, or that energy is more enveloping, or that energy is more focused, or that energy is more like, oh, everything is bouncing back to me. So that is exactly what each of these types are. The biggest types on planet right now is 70% are generator. And within the generator, there's the pure generator, and there's a pure generator, and there's manifesting generator, which is kind of like the hybrid between generator and manifester. Generators are here to build. So if we're talking about that humming sound of things moving, right? When you wake up in the morning, you're starting to hear it, like the car starting to go in front of your house, and you start to hear people walking around and things like that. That is generator, like the way that we can feel and hear the sacral center, because the sacral center is that like keep saying generator. It is a generator. It's like that one that the source that create lives on earth. And that's exactly what this energy is needed, because we need to continuously building, right? Now, manifesting generator, or let me backtrack. Generator has this, like a sustainable energy. So almost, because it's like, I always have in my mind when I speak about generators, the Energizer bunny. They can go. However, generators are not built to initiate. So a lot of us come into, like, school or job, and they'll say, just do it, right? Or like, plan something, make it a goal, think of something, make it a goal, create it, and things like that. And if you throw that to generator, and this is why a lot of the generators are not operating in true alignment of who they are, because they're trying to create while they are supposed to be waiting to respond, because they need to wait until that energy sort of kind of like, boop, all right, ready to go. I know what I have to do, and things are rolling. But they're not the type that like, okay, let me put myself out as a public speaker, for example. Let me just put myself, because I think I know this is the best career for me, and things like that. I know I can do this. I'm going to make plan A, B, C, D, E. And by the time they finish with the plan, they don't have energy to do it. Because why? Because it's not out of a response to something. It will be different if somebody say, hey, Karen, can you do a public speaking on confidence, for example? And I'm like, okay, hold on. Oh yeah, my gut says I should do this. Not just should, like my gut is actually excited about it. Once I do that, like whatever, like I don't even need to plan sometimes, things are just going to fall into its place and things happen. Okay, so that's generator. Manifesting generator is the same thing. It's kind of deceiving with the manifesting, thinking that they can actually manifest. No, they still have to respond. However, they are faster to get the response and do it. Or sometimes they do have an idea. And because if they have the manifestor's energy in it, they can say it to other people and then listen and wait for like, oh, okay, I got a good response to this. All right, okay, I'm going. Once the energy is flowing, then things will happen. Again, it's very different than if it's just like, I'm just going to put myself out there and see what happens kind of thing. So I keep mentioning about manifestor. Manifestor is about 9% of the total population now. Manifestor is one energy that can just do it. Like the famous slogan, just do it, because they do have that energy. So the generator and manifestor are the two type energy that has to act, that's very active, that's a dynamic. But manifestor can literally just say, okay, I want A, I'm going to get A. I'm going to, I want B, I'm going to do B, and I'm going to get B. But they can be very closed off, because that's their energy. Their energy is very closed off. They can be in their own world. However, these are the energy that needed in the world to make an impact, because from them came all the great ideas or things that needs to happen in the world. And some part of the job of the manifestor is they need to also work with the other energy, especially the generators, because generators the one who sustain life, who create life. So manifestor then need to work with the generator to then, okay, I want to make this impact. Who can I ask for help? And most of them, they will need a generator or several generators to help them. Okay. So manifestor is very close off. A generator is enveloping. The aura is very enveloping. So you can feel like that boop, 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 and they're like a big bear hug. Projector, about 22%, which supposedly from the teaching that I read, a newer energy, like projector and reflector are newer energy, part of the human evolution. projectors are here to, the aura or the energy of projector, it's not an active energy. It's not the one that can just, go, like build, run. I'm not saying that these people are just going to be like, flowy and fairy and no, they are, they can be very active and they can have a lot of passion, but they just cannot sustain energy for a long time, both projector and reflector. Projector will have some energy probably better than reflector, because reflector definitely do not have, most of their design does not have any of the motor. So they are like literally a big giant mirror. While projector has motor that can help them run. However, this type of energy will not sustain like a generator do. So you will see projector that suddenly in the middle of the day say, okay, I'm going to take a nap. And you're like, what? You're taking a nap? We're not even lunchtime yet. And you just have to understand that it's okay, because it's just part of that energy. And because projector absorb energy from their environment. So if they live with a generator, for example, they actually absorb the life force energy from the generator. That's why they can be really active. However, what happened when you absorb is that at one point it will get tired, right? Anything that you absorb, you amplify. And that's another thing with any absorptions of energy. Once you absorb it, especially with projector, you absorb and you amplify. So you get like, oh yeah, I got all this energy, and boom, 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 boom. And at one point that energy would just like, okay, we're done. And you're like, all right, take a nap. And that's something that people sometimes feel so guilty about, especially if they're working 9 to 5 and they're asked to be in a very active environment. They might feel like, oh, how come I don't have an energy like everybody else? Or what if people start to think that I'm lazy and things like that? But understand that projector are here to absorb energy. And because they absorb so well, they have the capacity to then guide and teach other, especially to generators, both the pure and the manifesting generator. Why? Because this big chunk of a population right now are out of alignment. And projector can feel when you're meeting someone who's out of alignment. So their job is to then, okay, let's sit down here. What's going on? So a lot of projectors are actually guide, teachers, coaches, therapists, consultants, and stuff like that. And then leaving us with the last one, which is reflectors. And reflectors, if you think that projectors, can shame themselves for not having energy, reflector can even shame themselves even more, because they literally do not have the energy sustainable as big as the rest of the energy type. Doesn't mean that they're going to be just airy fairy. I find a lot of lawyers who are actually reflectors, and there's a few celebrities as well that I got to know that they're actually also reflectors. They actually, like, you can put them in any room. They can tell you what the situation is. They're almost kind of like they're already born as a psychic, because they're in tune with everything around them so easily. You don't have, it's not even forced for them. They already feel it. And their job is actually to then reflect it back to the consciousness, so that they understand, hey, this is what's going on. What are you going to do? So that's reflector. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So your type is projector. And remember, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the presentation, human design help you to start to be selective. First, when you understand that your energy type is a projector, you know that you can't be what other people are saying. Like, you have to always be, active, dynamic, full of energy, and you can be able to run a marathon. Like, that should be your goal. You can. A projector needs to flow. because projector absorbs so many things.
Mhm.
And there will be time that you're absorbing other people's shit, which then you're like, this is out of alignment. What am I supposed to do? And again, when you absorb, you amplify. So when you have to like clean it up, that means you also have to use some part of your own energy to then clear out those energy, right? The one that are out of alignment. And you might feel like, oh, I'm so tired all of a sudden. So don't be alarmed. And this is not for you, Tina, because I know you keep your energy level always at an optimal level, and you're very good with, you know, clearing out your energy, and you're always in the high vibration. But for those who are not familiar with their energy type, if you often feel tired, well, of course, one, check with the medical physicians, your primary physician, to check if there's anything going on. Another thing is try to get a reading and see if you actually belong to the projector or the reflector energy type, because they got so misunderstood in today's society because of this energy. They can be really up and down. They can be energized one hour, and they can be really like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna lie down. That doesn't mean that they're lazy, especially if you're living with a projector right now. Please do not call them lazy. It's just that they do need to flow with this energy, because the more that they can flow with this energy, their efficiency increase. So they get to actually do a lot more if they have the capacity to flow with the energy. Okay. And one thing about projectors are they're not, again, the only energy type that can initiate is manifester. Projector have to wait. Same with everything, we all have to wait. And for you, it's about waiting for invitation, or because you're a teacher and a guide, you just have to like put yourself out there, become like a lighthouse that kind of just like, hey, this is me with my high vibration. And you allow people to come and recognize you, and then they will offer you the invitation. Or as we know, we are not all lighthouse. So in the realm of, we have to put ourselves out there, we then invite, but do not expect people to just say yes, because they also need to know, you know, they need the time to know you first. Because with projector, your energy is, because it's like a sponge, sometimes people can't see or recognize you right away. But if you are like, again, that picture of a lighthouse shining bright with a high vibration, people will drawn to you because you're the only one that's like high vibration here, high vibration here. So people are just going to get drawn to you. So for you, projector, it's very important that you do not get so caught up in feeling guilty, in judging yourself, in, I should be doing something else. Or like when the theme of bitterness, because like, oh, life sucks, disappointment, or, you know, like things are not working for you because people think that I don't have what it takes to be successful in the world. That's when you have to be really careful, because you're out of your alignment. Because when you're in alignment, everything you do feels so successful, even as simple as maybe just making a tea in the morning. It just feels like, oh, this is a success for me. So you need to always be in there. That's why I keep saying like high vibration, be the light, be the one that just, you know, standing still like a lighthouse and just shine bright. Because that's what projector needs to do, especially in this time right now that everything's become really chaotic and dark. We need more projectors to start, you know, to be out there to guide. Because like I mentioned earlier, the job of projector is to help the other energy type to come out of the, you know, the misalignment that they have been so used to, right? So here I said, projector correct way to bring success in life is following a formula. The recognition, like I said, that people need to see who you are, need to know who you are. And then the invitations, because once they recognize, you're like, and I think I've mentioned this to you with how you created success in your own massage therapy practice. You didn't even market, just people hear and know about you. And they're just like, Tina, I need a massage. Tina, I need a massage. Tina, I need this. Tina, I need that. Like, you know, they're inviting you. And that for you feels good. It feels better. It feels good. As the opposite, if you just like, oh, here I am, I'm a massage therapist, come to me. Because you don't have that energy. That's more like the generator. Even generator can't just do that, because generator needs to also magnetize the invite, the response to life. Manifestor, the ones like, hey, this is me, come to me kind of thing. And then follow your inner authority. For you, Tina, the inner authority is splenic or spleen center. And in the traditional energy, spleen is the one that is actually the oldest energy that give us that fight or flight, that first primordial intuition that if you don't follow, you die kind of thing, right? So where is this store? Remember, this is the ancient center that back in the days when language were not spoken, this center is the one that determine you whether you're going to be safe today or you're going to die. So as a splenic centers, or having a spleen as the inner authority, means that your body is your GPS, because your body at any moment will tell you, do not eat that. Do not eat that, because it's just gonna feel bad in your body. Or do not go to the left. Be patient, listen, wait, observe, then you can move. But like, I'm putting language to it. And with this center, it's that like something happened in your body that you just kind of like, oh, okay, hold, let me think about this, or let me wait until there's another response in the body, whether you should act or not act. So for in like a splenic center authority, it's very important for you to be aware of what's going on in the body, not here, but in the body. And be able to discern between here and the body. Like, because sometimes you also still need to do logic. However, the decision making needs to come from your spleen. And the spleen, I keep pointing to a center, but it's actually your whole body, because it's just like, it's like a bolt of energy. Like you got electrocuted for, some like that, that goes so fast. And then you just kind of get an inner knowing of like, okay, this is what I have to do. So it's very important as well for splenic authority people to be really have a practice to come back to present moment. And I feel like this is not just for, reflector or splenic center authority reflector. I feel like this is important for everyone. And I can, as a basic as like, because we all have this energy somehow in the body, right? Yeah. And to be able to access it, that we have to always come back to the present moment, because if we don't have the full awareness of what's going on in the body, including in our mind, then we lost control of what we actually need to do from time to time. That's why then we go outside of us for news, we go outside of us for directions and all of other things, including then your things that we then use for making us feel better, like food or drinks or drugs. I'm not saying any of them are bad, but start to also see how much is it is because we don't know what's going on in our body. So then we seek outside of us to then get a knowing, versus that, okay, I'm comfortable, I know what's going on in the body. Because once you have an inner knowing, you know that your body is resonating with you and you know what to do in from moment to moment. More and more we become, and to be honest, I'm also trying to tell myself this because it's hard to always be in present moment for me. Yes. That we don't allow ourselves to get confused or disconnected or not having clarity. And I hear that often, especially this day. I don't know what to do in my life. I don't know what else, I can't really think about the future. It's kind of like I've been doing this for my entire life, but it doesn't give me satisfaction anymore, and so on and so forth. So part of understanding the human design is once you start to know your inner self, be more present with it, then all that junk of like, I'm so confused, I don't know what to do, I have no clarity, and things like that start to disappear. Because remember, like even back in the days, without any TV, without anything that distract us, from moment to moment, we know what to do. Even, yeah, it was a simple life, but moment to moment to survive, we know what to do. And that's the GPS is here already. So that's, I feel like also a biggest lesson that I get from human design is that to be able to trust ourselves, because we all already have the GPS in ourselves. Okay.
I agree.
So intuitive hunch, for you splenic center people, it doesn't last long. So again, the practice is that when you have an intuitive hunch, you follow it right away, because when we don't follow it, we don't have the practice to follow, we kill that intuition. We kill that GPS because we don't trust. Again, like when we don't trust somebody, we don't want to go back to that person, right? So same thing with our own GPS. We don't trust our own GPS, then we never will ever be able to use it. So this could be a great information to have, but if you don't allow your intuition to be heard and to be followed, then that intuition always have the bad rap of like, I can't really trust it. I mean, it does not make sense. It's not rational. It's not logical, or blah, blah, blah. So then you kill your own GPS. You never know what your inner authority is. Okay. So negative habit to avoid as a projector is to let the mind making decision for you, overthinking, unaware. And I've seen this in some of my projectors friends as well. And some of them actually have like a mental projector, which they are supposed to like thinking a lot. However, at the end of the day, because projectors is like, again, it's a sponge, like it's absorb everything. They want to learn everything. They need to know, like they have to like, so if then everything is heady here and never get really integrated. And you, again, based on where that GPS is in the body, if you don't listen to your GPS and in fact, you just allow and rely on here, then this will always make decision, which we all know that only here may not be the correct one because you have the inner GPS down here. So somehow this needs to always get connected. Like this all needs to be flowing in nicely and smoothly. And as I mentioned before, design alignments, if you're out of your alignment, you feel bitterness or resentment, you just don't want to do anything. And in the profession or the business, your role is to guide or to optimize. Again, you're not the type that can just be on the field and do a lot of things, or you're not the type that can multitask. That the only one energy type can do that, which is the manifesting generator. You're very focused. You're like a teacher for the whole world. That's why you call it guide. And because you feel, you absorb, and you know what's going on in around you, then you can see which one that, okay, stop doing that because this is better. And that you can optimize the working energy of everyone around you. And I feel like even in your massage, you know, even like what's going on in the body, already sense it. You can see already, okay, stop doing this one, do this one instead, because you're also helping a lot of athletes and sportsmen and sportwomen, right? Yep. So that's exactly your role in your profession or your business. I leave this tips and tricks of living as a projector. Focus on your study, like really get a lot of knowledge. People sometimes say, why are you studying a lot? You can just tell them, okay, go away, because that's your, like, you love knowledge, and that's
student for life. Student for life.
Exactly.
I'm still taking classes right now.
Exactly. And have faith, like, again, trust that inner authority, have faith in yourself, like really listen. Like sometimes that's the part that we're shying away from our inner GPS, right? Because we're so conditioned to get validation from outside, where we get the right or wrong based on what other people tell us what's right or wrong. So when what we feel is right presented as being wrong outside, then we question ourselves. Mm-hmm. We don't trust ourselves. This is part of the experiment of human design, why the founder said, I can't really tell you what's right or wrong. Only you know what's right or wrong. So the only way for you to be able to come back into yourself is to just experiment with it. Of course, within your own safety and security, but at the very least, test the inner knowing, test that intuition's hit, test it, always testing it, follow and see whether it's actually working or not, because sometimes we also can't tell, right? Are we actually really listening to here, or are we still listening from here, or we're listening from our ego? So always question, always test. And for projector as well, to allow the universe to do the work, because sometimes all of us can be very impatient with how things are flowing. Depending on where you are in your life, things can go very fast, but it can also be very slow. And sometimes we get frustrated and we become impatient. That's where the resentment and bitterness can come for projector, because like, why is universe not doing blah, blah, blah for me? And sometimes if you put that energy out and you become restless and you do things out of alignment, then what universe trying to give you never actually come, because you're too busy doing something else. Like universe, like waiting. Are you ready? Are you ready? And you're like, oh, I'm still busy. So be really open and patient. And the best way to do it, go back to your study, learn as much as you can. Anything that make you happy, just do it. Okay. And another thing that projectors sometimes get their hands slapped is when because you see things and you're like, oh, she should not be doing that. And you're like, be on her face, and it's like, you should not be doing that. And that person will be like, who are you? Why are you telling me this? I'm not going to receive it. And that's almost kind of like human nature. We don't like to be given an advice. We don't like people to criticize us. We don't like people to just like point a finger and say, you should do this. Because the first thing that you're going to do is like, who the hell are you? Why are you even telling me this? I don't want it. And you get rejected. And for a rejecter, when they got rejected, it feels so painful because you absorb the energy. So please don't do that. The best way to do it, when you see somebody's like doing something and you're like, oh no, she's making a mistake. Oh no, she's doing that. Give yourself compassion to not actually just jump into it. Give the compassion to the other person that she's also doing her best. If you know the person, then offer an invitation. Hey, do you want to talk about something else that maybe doesn't have to go directly to that topic or the situation that she's in? Allow the other person to open up first and invite you. Okay. So the invitation can also come at the end of the conversation, but again, with no expectation. You do not want to get rejected over and over. So just give it, leave it, and then run away. And especially for splenic projector, like I mentioned earlier, have a good relationship with the body. Being able to sense any messages from the body is very important. There's some meditation that you can use, listening every part of your body, especially if your body is feeling some sensation. You can talk your body part and ask, hey, what messages do you have for me today? Okay. All right. Any questions so far?
Wow, that's a lot of good information. No, actually, this is quite good. It's actually fit me. I can see that. Like when you talk about connecting with my body, it's interesting because this past 7 years, I have been really focusing on connecting to my body by doing a lot of workout, lifting weights, run dance classes. I've done quite a bit of physical activities, not knowing why, but knowing that I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And each year gone by, I'm more and more in tune and connect with my body. And then, you know, God or universe brought me into doing work that has to do with massage therapy, which is also touching the body,
Yeah.
feeling the physical.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought was kind of interesting, that it's never been a career that I wanted to do or thought of. And I just kind of like one day I got the email and it's just talking about, you know, massage therapy. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go there. And while a lot of my family members like, no, don't do that, you know, massage therapy in my culture has a bad rep. But in my intuition, I just felt right.
There you go.
And guess what? When I got out of massage therapy school, within 3 months, I was fully booked, never passed one business card, never finished my website.
Yeah.
It's all referral fully, just back to back, and paid off my debt and everything. Just amazing, you know. So that just by listening to my intuition alone. And the kind of work allow me to really feel the body more. I'm in the present moment. And what's interesting is when I got COVID, I used to ask upstairs, like, why have been positive and happy, you know, travel a lot and no death and everything. Well, now I'm even more in tune with my body.
Yeah.
Because I feel everything. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Go on. I mean, guys, this is amazing. And it really fits who I am, you know. But I'm at my point, at this point in my life, I'm at where I am listening to my intuition more and more. And I'm really in tune with my body more and more, especially when I do more of workout and all that stuff. It allows me to feel my body more. It's interesting how life journey takes you into many different experiences, even though experience can be bad in our opinion, but those are not mistake. Those are experience that you needed. We all needed in order to be connected to who we are.
Yeah.
I can actually see that now, listening to what you have to share here. So let's go on for more meeting stuff.
Yay.
Here.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So I'm showing you the energy centers. Again, like I mentioned earlier, besides the astrology, the I Ching, Kabalah, and all that, we also look at the energy centers, the way that we've been trained about the 7 energy chakras that we have. Now, in human design, we recognize 9 instead of 7. According to the founder, back in maybe 1800, there's some mutations in the energy center. That's how he's being downloaded the information, and that's how there's additional 2 energy center here, you know, outside of 7 that we know. And well, I'm just going to go through it. There's a head, where we know the crown center, the ajna, the throat. The G center is the heart. So this is a combination together, G center and ego, because again, the ego, you know, when we say, this is me, we always point to the heart, right? So there's the ego center there. The sacral, as we know, the reproductive center. But before that, we have the solar plexus. And solar plexus and spleen, this is basically the two intuition center, one through the emotions and one the one that like you have the body feels, and then the root center.
Wait, go back. The one that on the spleen, is that emotional or body?
That's body. So solar plexus is emotion.
I see. Got you.
Yeah. Yeah. So for you, let me explain a little bit. The one that is colored, that means these energies are activated within you. So other people will feel it. Sometimes you don't feel it, but other people will feel it, that you have this energy up in the head. You have the energy around the heart. You have the energy both in the heart, actually. And I'll explain the difference between the heart and the ego. And then you have the energy in the spleen. The rest, the one that's are white, including some of this, because we call this the channel. So when there's only one channel colored and the other one is empty, that means this channel is not thoroughly activated, but only one of the gate is activated. And I'll explain to you later hopefully we have a chance to go over some of them today.
Yeah.
But the one that is colored like this is connected. That means this channel is activated within you and people can feel it. The one that has an empty one like this, people will be drawn to you for this energy because we all want to feel that channel activated. So that's why as humans, we don't all have everything, because part of us being in a community with others, we're interacting, we get attracted or not attracted by other people based on what we need to feel connections on. And that's, with lifetimes and whatnot and so forth. So anything white means that energy is not within you, it's not activated within you. The bad part, I'm just gonna say the bad part is that, like I said, if something open, that means something else is gonna come into there, right? Anything that empty, something else is gonna be in there. Energy will try to fill in anything that is empty. So when you have anything open, that means other people energy would love to be there, especially like, for example, the heart center. I don't have the heart center. So when I'm with you, I can feel your heart. I can feel your drive because I don't have this too. So like when we get connected, I can feel like, oh, okay, let's do this. But when I don't have it, I could be like just doing things and I'm like, no deadlines. I can just be like, blah, 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 especially because I don't have directions and I don't have the willpower. So I basically follow where the energy will take me next. But when I'm connected to you, I'm like, okay, I'm on. Like, let's do this. With this centers right here, you have the capacity, like you already come with a download. Like you already have a specific way of thinking. That your thoughts are already pretty much sync with whatever the divine wants. And because there's the connection here, then you have a capability to then digest, filter the information to then spread it to the world. The only thing that's missing for you is that you have the thoughts, but how are we going to communicate it? So because it's open, then you have actually other people energy there. So sometimes it got diluted, or if you find the right one, whatever that needs to be connected, like somehow that person also connect you to the head, then your communication can be really flawless. That's why as projector, you need to be invited, not just because the energy needs to connect first. But again, you need to be present in front of people who who have the connection, who need the information that you have from your head that's already filtered to then be voiced for that specific person. Because for projector as well, your energy is very focused. Like you individualize solutions. Doesn't mean that you can only work one person at a time. You can work with a lot of people. However, your efficiency is actually when somehow something is get connected and you feel that present and you're like, okay, here's your solution kind of thing. Because that's really fast coming. And especially for you, because you already have the head connected with the filter. The filter for me means a way to present the idea, a way of, telling the information. So once you have that, you just need the connection to the right people who are ready for you then, like, here's the solution, so that you can voice it and land on the other person the way that it needs to land for him or her. Mm-hmm. Now, I think I was talking about, the bad part about the white. I'm going to tell you the good part about the white. Once you understand that the white space absorb, two things can happen. You have the wisdom of knowing what other people are experiencing. And as a teacher, that's a good wisdom to have, right? Especially as teacher and guide, then you can guide a person because you understand them. You have the compassion, you have the capacity to learn from what's going on and then find the solutions for him or her. Another good thing to have is that you can relax that you're not crazy. Because sometimes when you have a lot of open centers, you're like, what the hell? I almost have like a bipolar. But it's part of the lesson. Sometimes I find it when I am starting to really experiment with this open center, is that I get to have the experience of the life that not necessarily feel good for me, but because I know this is not mine and I know how to transmute it. That's one lesson that I have, right? Second thing is I experience it and apparently it's not mine. Then I can create solution that maybe can help other people. That's the second one. So all this open center, please don't ever feel like, oh my God, I don't have this energy in me. Don't panic. It's actually giving you the biggest gift on earth, is to be able to understand other people, to be able to help and serve others, which is part of our purpose anyway, right? So for you, you don't have the throat, because I think we talk about this. Sometimes you're telling something to somebody and they don't get it. That's why for you, you need to wait. Feel the energy, who you're talking to, and listen to the intuition. Are they receptive of this idea or not? And just say, invite first. Hey, are you interested in listening to something like this? And just leave it off. If the person wants to listen, then you're given, and not just like the person's like, yeah, okay. So that's kind of like a sign like, yeah, maybe, like that's not a clear yes. But if the person then say, oh my God, Tina, please, I would love you to tell me what's going on. That's an invitation from the other person to you. That's when your communication will be so clear. And it doesn't mean that it'll be clear to me, but for that person, it's like exactly what she needs to hear. Okay.
It's like an exchange of energy, right?
Yes.
Let's say I don't have an open energy filled in the throat chakra. So when I'm connecting, let's say on my YouTube, I'm connecting someone, you have your throat chakra filled, right?
Yeah.
So I'm connecting with an individual like yourself. So that's like a jigsaw puzzle that becomes a complete picture.
Yes.
Yeah. So when that person say yes, or when I have my intuition to ask that person to come on board, boom, that's a perfection there.
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so another centers that is open for you is the emotion. I'm just going to tell you, all of us who do not have the center is actually pretty lucky. The ugly part is that we feel everyone's emotions. And I can't tell you how much that I go into a room and I suddenly like, I want to cry. Or I go to like some places and then I'm like all starting to feel like all this joyful, or get angry, got ticked off. Like my friend sometimes like, how can you just get so angry about nothing? Like, what's going on with you? Like, you're usually just a chill person and then you just like, got triggered. So this solar plexus.
Which one is that?
This one here.
The pink one, right? Oh,
no, not the pink one, the empty one.
Plain, okay.
Yeah, the one that we don't, the one that is empty for you.
Okay, got
clear. So you feel everybody's emotions. And it gives us a power of being sensitive. And with the job that you have, you are in tune with other people's emotion, and it's a gift to then help them with what's going on, right? Because some people are just not feeling anything and you want to help them with that. So
I feel I feel everyone. Yeah.
And that's why you're a guide. That's why as a projector, you're a guide and a teacher, because when you feel so much, then you're like, okay, as a collective, this is what our experience. So what can I do? And I feel like,
does that help, Karen? Because I noticed that I do not take on other people's feeling. I don't. No, you don't. Yeah, I can separate that. Yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes they think I'm too aloof, or but I don't. I don't get depressed like some people. Listen, I'm fine.
Yeah, absolutely. You're correct on that one.
So then having an open channel can be very beneficial too.
Oh, yeah. That's why don't be scared. Like, because sometimes when people see this, and I was like that too, because I only have 3 centers that is colored. So I'm like, what? I only have 3 centers that colored. I'm activated a third of the whole human beings. And of course, I was just over dramatizing it. But then I realized because of that, I have the sensitivity of having to be able to know my environment and know my clients and be able to, talk to them in the level that they're like, how do you know? Like, how do you know about my feelings? How can you know what I'm thinking? How do you know what I want to say or whatever it is? So you feel it. But the thing with the solar plexus, and we all know, even though we say we don't absorb it, but it's an energy, right? So it's very important for us to do that energetic clearing, especially emotional energetic clearing, especially that center is right here. And people sometimes think, oh, I have too much acid. So it's good to have nutritions that do eliminate the acid, the acidity in our esophagus and stuff like that. But also be very mindful that even though we don't absorb, we actually absorb those energy. And what happens when we absorb, we amplify. So that thing is running. Again, energy you can't see, right? Because sometimes you're just there and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have stomach ache, or like, this is like, I need to burp a lot. And I have that this morning. I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel good. So yeah, an energy practice to release that emotion, even though it's not yours, which is good. Just be able to, all right, clear the solar plexus, letting go, releasing it out of the system, coming out of our skin and any other organs, so that it's not bugging us. Because if we're not careful, we don't realize it, but we're holding on to it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You also don't have the sacral. Now, this is the juice of life, the juice of the battery that the generators have. You don't have. But when you are connected with generators, that's when you get the like, I got my battery back. So I sense that you're probably living with a generator, or maybe your boyfriend is also a generator, and that keeps you going, and it is okay. But one thing about having the sacral centers open for projector is that, again, when you absorb, you amplify. So it's almost kind of like you get that sugar high, and then all of a sudden you're like down. And that happens, it's okay. Just let it be. That means you just need to maybe, have a space, be somewhere. Going out to the nature is great. So 2 center that require nature, if it's empty, is this 2. Because, well, the spleen as well, because you need that clarity, right? And that energy center needs to be in alignment or be clear for you. So to be able to clear it, just be outside, be near the tree, mountain, ocean, have an alone time is definitely a must. If anyone is married to a generator and you have this empty, then you sometimes have to sleep apart so that you can rest. Because when you have this open, that means you sense the other person, and the generator does not sleep. That center is, even though the body's sleeping, the center is always going. So sometimes for some people who are sensitive, it may actually affect the way that you sleep, because you hear it. I'm like, oh, there's something is buzzing. And it will interrupt your sleep. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. And then the last one is the root center. Now, root is the one that keep us together. It's actually the adrenaline center. The one that, because it's in the bottom, is the one that makes you run or stop, right? The fight, flight. So with that center being open, be mindful about being pressured to do. A simple example is when you're driving. Suddenly somebody's being, suddenly there's a car in the back, right? Like you're like, da, 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 I'm driving on a Sunday, everything's an empty space. And then all of a sudden there's a car just right behind you. And the car is just like following you, and then like want to go here, and I go here, and I go here, and go here. And you're like, what the hell? So you feel that pressure, and then you suddenly feel like you have to speed up. So that's when somebody's actually in your root center. That's the feeling that you have. Suddenly somebody is on your neck and telling you to move. And when that happens, just have the sanity of like, I'm just going to go pull over and let the other person go. And this is just an example, and this happened in our day-to-day, even as we're on a grocery store doing our grocery and the line's long and somebody's just like, so that's when you're like, okay, just let the person go first, so you don't have the pressure, feeling pressure to act. So that's that. Question.
So on what is the heart in the center? What is that about?
Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go next, which is all your define center. Again, define means that this energy is activated within you. So heart, as we know, is the soul, the spirit, our spirit. We in the human design, it's one center, the only center that actually works like a suction, because it's the seat of our soul. So the soul knows, and the soul is always going to attract exactly what the soul needs. So you guys can do anything and go crazy about chasing things, but when the soul is not absorbing what the soul wants, then that's why we never understand why we don't know what our life purpose is. And so that's you. And you have that activated, which is a blessing, because those who do not have this, like me, have a harder time trying to understand the way that the soul wants. So for you, you're guided basically, as long as you're in alignment with your body, you're aligned with your soul basically. So whatever life direction that you need, you already have it in you. So if you even at one point ever question, the answer is already within your heart. And for you, it's nice to have this willpower to be here and connected to the heart as well. It's also, what the heart wants, you have the drive to do it. What the heart wants, you will always make it happen. And that's a nice combination to have. This is the willpower, which is the ego. Sometimes people are like, ooh, ego, bad. No, because ego is the one that say, this is me, I'm Tina, I'm doing this and I'm going to make it happen. Some people say it's ego, right? It feels like bad, but it's not. It's when you actually know who you are that you get to do what you want. And those of us who say, like, how can she be so sure? They're the one who usually don't have that combination because they're still searching within themselves. So for you, you're having this two energy centers side by side and connected and activated within you. So it's very easy for you to actually trust the heart and trust your drive, because it will just make things happen for you. And there's also connection between the spleen and the drive, the willpower, right? The ego. So again, your decision making will be so fast because the minute that you're activated in your spleen, say yes, you're just going to do it. There's no stopping you. The only way that you will stop you if you question, if you want to go into your head and like, should I do this? This does not make sense. I should probably not do this. That's when it got disconnected. But for you, the more that you can trust that intuitive hit and just go do it, even though it looks messy, even though it looks like, well, like other people like, Tina, don't do it, and things like that, that will give you like that engine is that powerful. It's very smooth as well.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Karen, because that makes totally sense, because oftentimes when I look back on my life, sometimes there's a lot of feeling that's right to do, but it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
And because the situation at the moment was not as clear or peaceful, but it was just chaotic. But I just felt right doing it, and I did it. And when I look back, glad I did it because it was all the right decision. And you're right about that. Once I get that intuitive hit, it feels right. I do it fast like that. There's no question. Yes. So you hit right on all of that. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yay. Any kind of questions on this energy centers?
You know, so the ego one, is that also part of the heart center, or it's not? It's
separate centers. In the traditional seven center, we only know the heart. But in the modern human design way of looking at things, the heart has two. One is the seat of the soul, which is always pure and always knowing. And then there's a willpower. That is the driver or the ego that will make things happen, basically.
So the two parts of the heart's connected together in my chart, per se.
Yeah, for you it's connected. Not everyone has this. I don't have it.
Okay, good. Wow, this is fascinating, guys. You have any questions, post comments, you know, and find out what type you are.
Yeah.
Let's go on. Yeah, because this is, I mean, are you a projector like me, or are you a manifester? Are you a generator? Or are you a reflector? Or you are a manifesting generator? What are you, right? Because listening to this is so fascinating. And I'm glad that I got this done by her, because it allowed me to see myself more. And I got, wow, this makes sense. That's totally me. And I can actually see myself at the point in my life. This is probably the right timing, Karen, because at this point in my life, you know, even though I went through the COVID and all that, it allowed me to be even more connected to my body. I'm listening to you, I'm actually connecting all my intuition, my body more. I don't rush into things, and I do things when it feels right. And I just do it. Yep. Yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
You're welcome. Okay. So part of the design, first we know the type, and then we know all the energy centers that activate in the body. The biggest question is, what is the life lessons that we're here for? And this is a design, this is called the profile in human design. It indicates the purpose or theme in life, not necessarily like, you know, your life purpose, but although it gives you a flavor of what that purpose is, it does not. And one thing that I want to let people know, your purpose is not your job. So please disconnect that two idea, because a lot of people think that, oh, my purpose is the one that I'm going to have to do all, you know, as in my life. Not necessarily. So with this, as we're going through this, know that this is giving you a flavor, and hopefully this is something that you will do in your life as part of your job, that you're making money, which is perfect, right? But sometimes it can also just translate in like how your day-to-day being. And it gives you probably a clue of like, oh, okay, I understand it now, why I like to do things a certain way. Okay. For you, your profile is 3-6. 3 is the martyr line, and 6 is the role model line. And please don't get hung up with the martyr, thinking like they're the one who the saints who got beaten or, you know, thrown a stone and put in a cross. Martyrs just mean that they experiment. They will do anything they heart desire. Okay, so martyr is again the you know, just go back into the image of a martyr. They will not compromise. They have an idea, they know what to do, and they will just do it. They will not listen to other people say blah 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 blah, even to the point that they will get killed from it, which I'm not saying that you're going to get killed. Please remove that. But it's like that drive of like, I'm just going to experience it. Like, I know this is what I'm feeling called to. Like, if you think about a lot of the martyrs, like common sense, why are you even doing that? It's like bringing everything back to you, but they're so passionate about it. And there's a lot of the 3 lines. They're very passionate about learning about life. Like little things excite them. They would, and it's not just a matter of learning. They want to experience it so much. And because they experience it, they have something they can use to teach other. And that goes into your 6th line, which is the role model line. A role model line, it's funny, it's the contradiction between the projector and role model. Role model line actually is not the type of person who just go in front of the classroom and start teaching. No. Role model line teach because they have experienced it. So this 2 combination, just, you know, working exponentially, is because once you understand and learn something, it's easy for you to then teach others, which is your projector not requirement, like what that's the intention of being a projector, as the guide, as that lighthouse. But then as a lighthouse, you're actually not just like giving information here, I'm a teacher, but you're actually sharing it because, hey, I have gone through, and for you, I think your biggest blessing, although, you know, certainly it's not a blessing when you're going through it, was, you know, when you got COVID. But during that period, you got to understand and learn about who, you know, your body function, and you actually created a channel out of it. And that's you doing your role model, the sixth line. So your 3 is the one that, and unfortunately you have to experience it in a bad way. But then because of that, the other channel, the other profile is being activated. And it doesn't mean that everybody has to go through something bad, no. But just know that in your life, no one gonna tell you, learn from a book, learn from, you know, just reading something. You'll be like taking the book and say, oh, I have to do this, okay, done, I'm in. And you'll be like experimenting with it. You're like experiencing everything. And then on the side, you already have a blog, you have a book that people are reading, and you're like inspiring millions because of that. So that is this design. The purpose in your life is to experience. And because of that experience, again, with something like this, you don't plan. This is not something that you will have to activate. In fact, this is just going to happen. You know, whether or not you're conscious about it, it was just going to be like that. There's a difference between the 3 and 6. 3 is unconscious. I forgot. Yeah, 3 is unconscious and the 6 is conscious. So some people will see you one way or the other. You will feel like you're, you know, just somebody who just like to experience life. But the other people will see you as the role model, because there's like the conscious and the unconscious, right? People see you from the outside as one way, but you internally feel a different way. But just so you know that whatever it is that you experience, it's your resources, it's your gift, it's a juice that make you who you are. People who have this line tend to be a late bloomer. They tend to be very timid or very closed off in their early age. And then all of a sudden they're just like out in the world and influencing others and making an impact.
Wow. Wow. You hit on the nail right there. Yeah. People who knows me right now would have a hard time believing that I was very shy, very timid when I was very young. And because I was brought up in the Asian culture. So we were programmed, or I was brought up in a very, what do you call that? Introverted culture,
yeah.
Or an introverted family upbringing. So I was not allowed to say a lot of things and very timid. So that was right. And I feel like I'm a late bloomer because I'm becoming who I am more and more as I'm older. Yes. Yeah. So that was very good. Yes.
Yes. So that's the life purpose or your profile. And then we have the Incarnation Cross. Incarnation Cross is basically like if you watch a movie and you can tell right away, oh, this movie is about the love story of a 2-girl meeting, and their life never crossed finally until they met in Paris and they fell in love in the end. So incarnations give you that storyline in your life. And for you, your Incarnation Cross is vessel of love. And there's vessel of love number 1, 2, 3. Yours specifically is the energy to love life and into anything, basically, from the body, from people around you, from the environment. But your theme is love. So love can be loving others and also the loving of self. And this is very like Venus-like, very sensual, very in the body, just enjoying life. In the essence, like people say enjoy life and they just go, show them being in a yacht somewhere, or like having a holiday somewhere. But for you, it's the love that is in the essence of like even just go out for a walk, it feels so satisfying in the body. Making love can feel so satisfying in the body. Drinks can feel so satisfying because there's a lot of love coming into that. So even little thing like that, that's just the experience of this vessel of love. So it's a vessel, like you're a vessel that carrying a lot of this love. Okay. All right. So remember I said that there's channels. Sorry, I should have probably put another picture. Are we good in time?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So remember that there are gates. Gates are these numbers that are connected. So if you look at this, all of these numbers, there are 64. I Ching 64.
Yeah.
DNA gene 64.
That's a number inside the center, each center.
Yeah. So 64 can be here, but 62 is here, and then 60 is here. So they're kind of like, it goes by the center. So the gate indicates the energy is being activated. So like your willpower has the center number 51, 26, and 40 that's being activated. So each of those gates means something. I don't think I can go through. I think I'm going to go part of it when we're looking at your sun sign, your moon sign, everything like that. But each one of it has the energy being activated. And again, if anything is colored, mean that you have that constantly. If it's not, then it's something that you take on from other people. Now, today, I'm just going to look at the channel, because when these two energy or the gates are connected, then it's like people seek you for that because they want that activation. Like, for example, the 6447, and I'm just going to go down here. 6447. This is a channel of abstraction. So this is a channel that wants to make sense of what happened. And a lot of people don't. No, I'm not going to say a lot of people, because there are people who have this channel as well. Like, you go through experience and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But for you, again, part of that purpose, right? Because you have experienced this, like, okay, let me find out why am I experiencing it, why it comes out this way. If I have done it this way, what will be the output, and things like that. So you see things happening, and you have some, you have a story. You're like, oh, okay, that's why it's happening that way. Again, part of your activation as well is because then part of that experience you can distribute it, or you can give it to somebody else. So with this though, because it's the channel from the head and to the ajna, it can feel very abstract, because you're noticing things that happening. And sometimes if we all know, right, in the subconscious, sometimes like A plus B doesn't equal 1 plus 2 doesn't equal 3, but it could be equal something else. So when things that like happen, sometimes we're like, I don't get this. But once that period has happened, and again, with you, it's nothing to be overthought. You don't overthink it, but things are just gonna make sense on its own with times. And once you have that clarity, you give it out to people. But again, you have to wait whether the other person or the people that you want to share it with are ready for you. In fact, it's even better if they are the one who's inviting you to share, instead of you just sharing it. So that's 4764.
Funny you say that, because that's, to me, it's like pieces of puzzles that comes into my life. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense at the moment, but as time passes by, it becomes a whole picture.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, I got it. Why?
Yeah.
All this. Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes I can actually see what's going to be the whole picture even before. Yeah.
Nice.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so another channel that you're connected is 2151, which is here between the heart and the willpower. So this is what I call the beginner's channel. And I'm not gonna go scroll up and down after this. 2151 is the initiation. So people, you love anything new. Is that true?
What is it again?
You like something that is like new, like not necessarily new information, but it's new to you.
Yes.
That people tend to want to invite you to something that they just found out, and they want to include you in the experience of it. So that's the channel of 2551.
Newness or new experience or new information. Yes, everything's on you.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So yeah, because of that, you're adventurous in a sense, right? And you do amplify this energy and invite people who either invite you or want to share experience with you. But also with this energy, sometimes it encourages competitions. I don't know why, but people tend to want to just want to compete. Like, oh, can't believe Tina is doing that. I better do something better. Or just like on the street, like suddenly people just like a car just tried to bypass you out of nowhere, even though like everywhere else is empty, or somebody tried to cut you in line in the grocery store and things like that. So it's okay. Don't take it personally. It's just that the energy there. Again, when you're talking about a heart and a drive that is connected and that is pure, people tend to get jealous. So just be okay with it and stay in your lane and know who you are, know what you're doing, and continue just being that adventure. Because again, part of being activated into an initiation of something, then you also are being the guide that people need to initiate others into an experience that is good for them. And this is also a channel that people say is the shaman or the priestess channel, because it's that kind of like knowing and openness that other people don't have, as good as yours, basically, if that makes sense. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
And then 2644, and there's some others that I put in there. Welcome to read it. 2644, 44 is the oldest. This is the one that connects from the willpower to your spleen. So this is where the old memory or the old instinct reside. And this is also a channel of creativity, because when we try to survive, even in the old days, we start to learn, even without language, even without technology. If you go to that area of the wood and a lion is going to attack you, that means if you keep going there, you're going to die. So eventually you will stop yourself from going to that part of the wood and you go somewhere else. So part of this channel is also like, once you start to understand, you get all these things that you experience, then you start to create something new out of like, I can make this better. I can, I can create something that out of, not just out of ordinary, because it's part of the function itself, so that somebody else will have a better experience. And this is a great channel if you're in business, because you can smell the money, meaning that you can smell opportunity because you see it on other people's like, why are they still doing it that way? I can do it better, because actually, if you do it this way, you will get a better result out of it. And I feel like even in your job, right? Your profession right now. I think you mentioned about like, some therapists will just hit in certain spot but you, because you experience it in your own self, you know how to like go deeper into reaching certain other spot that get you a greater release. So things like, so this is the channel that actually explains that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Wow.
All right, so we've covered abstraction. All right, last one. A lot of information, I know.
There's a lot of information in this, guys. I mean, you know, come to Karen for this reading and find out about your human design. This is, I mean, we're doing this just to show you what this reading all, you know, entail. There's a lot of information, and this is, I mean, this is quite accurate about myself, you know, and I'm just smiling at it because I'm at this point in my life where I can actually see this, you know, a reflection of myself with all this center. And she spent so much time like this, actually about almost 2 hours doing reading for me. And, you know, this is going to be for yourself, which is so worth it. Once you know who you are, and it just confirmed my journey that I'm walking on right now, that I'm on the right path, and I'm actually utilizing all my center that I'm doing right now. So, and if you are lost and you don't know where you're at, it's great to try this out. All right, so Karen, let's hit it. The last one.
All right. So remember I mentioned that each of this gate have meanings because they're activated. So those of you who are familiar with astrology, so you know that this is the sun sign. This is the node, north node, south node, earth, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and so on and so forth. So all of this has an energy. The number here, if you happen to have an I Ching or I Ching book, this is what's on I Ching. So 46, just go look up I Ching, the same translation. The founder, of course, give it a different translation for human design, but in the essence, it's the same thing. That's where astrology, and you know, Western astrology, Chinese ancient philosophy, and you know, the energy is melt or mold together. So for you, Tina, I broke down to I like to go over the inner planets, because in my own Western astrology learning, the 5 inner planets are the one that gives you characteristic. So that's why I like to go over in that. And, you know, not when you know your characteristic or your traits, then you know what your needs are. So when you're out of balance, you know that you're like, oh, I'm not honoring certain part of me, and you can look it up here. So who you are and what energizes you, your sun in the Western astrology, you're in a Libra. In the human design, you have the conscious gate of 46 and the unconscious gate of 15. So a little bit about conscious and unconscious. Conscious is the one that people know right away. Unconscious is the one that running. So it's like your subconscious, the one that running your program of who you are, that you sometimes don't even know it's there. But from time to time, you realize, oh, okay, yeah, there's somebody else that almost kind of like driving this vehicle that we call body that drive me in a certain direction. So for you, gate 46, which is again, the love of the physical body, love of the flesh. You need to maintain fitness and joy of living in the physical plane. So you require a lot of touchy, feely, and whatnot. The unconscious gate of 15, you need to express, the energy need to express itself through rhythms. So you have your own rhythm in life, whether it's when you want to wake up, when you want to go sleep, when you're going to go to the gym and things like that. And people who have this often have their own specific rhythm that not many people will be able to copy, because they sometimes feel like, why are you waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning? I'm already going to the gym at 4:30. That sounds human. But for you, it's like nothing, because that's the way that your body rhythm requires you or wants you to do. Okay.
Yep.
And then your moon is in Sag, but as human design, your conscious gate 26 and conscious gate 4. Emotionally, you need nourishment through making a deal, like a salesman. What it says is like, for you, that experience, when you become that role model, you experience it, you know it, you just love sharing it. And please know that being a salesperson doesn't mean you're a bad person. We all need to be a salesperson because we all have wisdom that we need to have, give to other people so that we can help them. So
Right.
if you shy away from not telling your truth, then you're not being, you're not living your purpose. You're discounting other people from learning or knowing about your wisdom. So for you, that's actually a requirement emotionally to be able to share, to convey the truth or whatever it is that you're being called to. And then the unconscious gate number 4 is the emotional need to find an answer, like why, and that's all part of your emotional need.
Totally.
Take it as it's true.
I was a student and sit in front and always raise my hand. Why? What? Why? What? Only one. Yep. Always.
And then your Mercury, which is your need to express or your mental energy or communication style, is expressing realization. Again, going back into like everything that you have to share, and you're like, aha, now I understand why is this happening this way. And that's when you're, that this gate is giving you that trigger. And your unconscious gate 35 is the need to figure out the logical next step. So somehow, like once you have that aha, what are you going to do about it, right? And that's the unconscious energy is actually supporting you to then start to figure out how to make sense of it, the logical next step, and the directions to go. So that's why also for you, once you have that intuitive hit in the body, like everything is working, and you just like the way that your mind working, it's backing you up with, okay, what's logical next step? What do we have to do? You don't even have to rely on other people. It's like the machine is like down here, it's like, okay, got it. And up here, it's like, okay, ready. And then just boom, you go. And that works very fast.
Yep.
And then your Venus or feminine energy or your desire is gate 18 and 35. 18 is the desire to bring a better way of doing things. I think I mentioned that also in one of the channel. Is one that always find a way to make things better, either for yourself or for other people. And it's also being supported of the desire for change. So you're a type of person who will not just take things for granted and be comfortable in one place. There's a need for always moving and finding out what other, how can I make this an even more enjoyable life than it already is. Okay. And then the last one is Mars, or the masculine energy, or this is the energy of taking action and creating structure. For you, the conscious energy is taking action based on patterns, knowing what's already happened in the past, part of that channel that you need to see what's, what has happened, how it's creating results. And, part of that awareness is then as you're moving forward, okay, what needs to happen? How am I going to create this as a structure? And then the 64 is taking actions based on identifying all the pieces. And, sometimes, again, part of your profile as well is like, there's a lot of trial and error. So for you, the faster that you give yourself permission to let me just try and work it out, instead of, let me find the manual, because the manual will not work for you. You will go faster when you just try. This makes sense. Okay, go with this and try again. This makes sense. Go with this. Try again. This makes sense. Go with it. That's the structure for you to take action.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Tons of information and everything, just very accurate about myself. Karen, this is amazing. And this is one of the reasons why, guys, I decided to have Karen to come on and just read my chart and show it to you guys, just to see how detailed it is that she gets into your core essence, everything about you, because everything that she talks about me is totally right on. you know, and it's just so worth it to kind of have that confirmation and just so you know about yourself. You know,
Yeah.
I would love for you to kind of come back and also talk about the other type of the human design too when you have a chance, because I'm sure there are several of you who are manifestors, who are like manifesting generator or reflector, or even just like me being a projector, you know. So you do want to know who you are.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you actually able to utilize yourself better,
Yeah.
you know, and be more successful.
Yeah.
So in this session, you get an idea what it's like to find out about your human design. And when you get Karen to do this chart for you and do the interpretation for you, you can see how detailed she can be. And very good. You're very good. I'm very thankful to have you do this. So Karen, just quickly before we part, because I know it takes a lot of time in here.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize it's like.
Oh, that's okay, because this is how it is. And when you do actually give a reading, because that's a lot of information, you wanted to give it all to them, you know, so they get all this information, they can help themselves.
Yes.
And, you know, you can share with people too, beside what you do this. I mean, what else that you do? I know what else you do, but some people watch this for the first time. You can share your gift.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. First, the reading, just know, even there's a lot of information, this is just the foundation for you to start to get to know yourself again. Mm-hmm. Once we get even deeper into human design, there's so many other things that it will blow your mind. That's why I can't really just do it in one sitting. And again, with human design, knowledge is only a fraction. The embodiment part, the practice of chipping away that things that we hold on to for a long time as part of identity, that's the part that will really free you to be who you are and actually live your truest potential. So that's why I do a 12 weeks coaching program based on, first understanding who you are. But the bulk of the work is actually in the embodiment. And I go through every single part of what I, give in the short reading, not that short, but part of that reading. So then we go deep into like, okay, what is it to understand your soul? So what is it to understand your emotion, especially with emotion? Like we have so many judgment around emotion. So really understand like what's your emotional needs, how you're going to thrive with certain emotion instead of just pushing it down. And then we also want to learn and understand about the thoughts. We want to be very good about, our needs and our way that we learn, understand, and communicate, and where other areas that we can let go, because we carry a lot of stories in our thoughts, right? That we have to let go in order for us to free ourselves to be who we are, and so on and so forth. So that's in a 12 weeks program that I do in a coaching style program. I do a lot of clearing in that, energy clearing, hypnotherapy, because I want us to live free, fully aligned, happy, because we're going to start seeing things crumbling down around us as an effect of how we have lived out of alignment for so many years. Because what we're seeing right now are results of our actions in the past, right? So we're starting to see how being out of our alignments is creating what and who we are, what we're experiencing today. So my hope is that if I can bring this work more into the world, that I can help people to come out of that misalignment and actually be free. So you don't have to then again get confused, not sure, but be very at peace and at ease in who you are and live your amazing life. And that's
wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karen. Well, guys, I'm going to put her information and a description here. So you want to reach out to her, please do. She's always there to answer your question. And if you like this session, this talk, please go and ask her to do your human design, because that's so worth it. I think it's worth it to me. And I was also get, somebody else too for her to read. And if you like it, please subscribe. Click like,
subscribe,
or just share this video with your friends or family. Do that. All right.
Well, let me do this. When it's end of March, End of March is in a week, right?
Right.
And
next Thursday.
Like if any of your audience is interested or willing to come out on your show, and have me read for them, and maybe not as detailed as the one that I give you, maybe cap it up to like up to the life purpose. I will do a free reading, but my ask is that you're come up on on the show, and I will select, because we already done projector. I will I want to of course look for a generator, manifesting generator, manifestor, and reflector.
Oh, awesome. Oh my
and
God,
I'll do it
guys.
for free. Yeah.
Okay, this is a great deal. My God, who wouldn't want that, right? All right, guys. Just contact her. All right. That's very important. Until then, thank you for being here, listening to this. And, thank you, Karen, for being here.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
We'll see you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.